We are back with another retired NASCAR driver's career. This is number 8 for Dale Earnhardt Jr., another Hendrick Motorsports year. It's a pretty decent year, much like 2008. Pretty consistent, just in the chase, fell apart, never really had a shot at the championship. So here's number 8 for Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s retired career. 2012 was a pretty good year, as I said. It was just like 2008. He did miss 2 races because of concussion, but he got a win, his first win in 4 years. 10 top 5s, which matched the 2008 mark, but 20 top 10s, some of the most in his career. He led 358 laps, as I mentioned, ranked 12th in points. Average finish of 10.9. It's not too bad there. You can see some of the finishes they had there and down towards the chase. You can see how much he fell apart there, going from he entered the chase basically around second in points. After Richmond, he got swapped to 7th in points and never got higher than where he started the chase at. So just disappointing chase for Dale Jr., and that concussion didn't help. So actually started out with the first race of the season, the Daytona 500. You couldn't even see Jr. in the last camera frame because he's right up on the back bumper of Greg Biffle. As Matt Kenseth leads, you would think the 60 and the 88, if they get hooked together, they're going to get right on by that 17 Skippy. Those two drivers should settle it. But Biffle, being the teammate he is, dragging the brake. I mean, you can't really tell if he's dragging the brake. You would think he would be dragging the brake because otherwise they would just be flying right around Kenseth without any issues. They had a run down the back. They didn't make anything happen. And then through 3 and 4, I think Junior's had enough. He's like, if you're not going to try and go for the win, I'm just going to make sure you guys don't finish 1-2. So off 4 just hangs a right to get to the outside. Biffle side drafts him. He actually gets up alongside him and gets by him and actually ends up finishing second. So once again, another second place finish in the Daytona 500. And I think that's probably the match you'll see Dale Jr. I think he a little bit frustrated with Biffle why he didn't make a move. He's just kind of in there like, hey, what the heck, man? Should have made that move. So then we go on to the third race of the season, Las Vegas. Junior qualified 4th, but after Kyle Busch had to go to the back of the field, moves up onto the front row. As Harvick makes it 3 wide, Casey Kane, that slows both of those drivers down, and Junior gets a high wide run off the top side and gets clear for the race lead. And down the backstretch, charging hard. Look at that fast pole way down the back as Logano gets to the 2nd position, and Kane from the pole falls back to 3rd. So they go through 3 and 4. Junior with a pretty nice, comfortable lead. He'll lead lap 1 at Las Vegas, showing that he has a pretty fast car here that he can contend for the win. During the race, he leads 70 of the 267 laps, but some pit strategies and some conservative strategies make him fall outside the top 10. He's racing around there for pretty much most of the middle part of the race, and he ends up finding himself back up inside the top 10 and finishes 10th at Las Vegas. But started out pretty promising, showing that they have some pretty fast 1.5-mile cars, but they just have to get the strategy right. They have to get it right. They have to keep up with the track throughout the race here. He'll lead a 2nd lap, so he leads the first 2 laps and he ends up leading 70 laps at Las Vegas. So then at Bristol, Junior and Jeff Gordon battle inside the top 10. They make a slight little contact, not much, but cuts the left rear tire of Gordon down as they make contact in where the exhaust pipes are, and it cuts Gordon's tire down. And then after Bristol, we move on to Martinsville, where Junior is not too happy with the lack of information his crew chief is giving him. You can see the damage right there.
Why am I backing it up? Am I going to make it on fuel? We're real close, bud. We're right on the number. If you save some, we should make it. Well, damn, dude, I didn't know we needed to save fuel. Keep doing what you're doing. You're fine. You're fine.
So he pits from 3rd as the caution comes out, falls back to 6th on 2 tires, and the madness happens in front of him. You know the story. Newman and Boyer, Newman gives Boyer a bump into the corner and sends Boyer way down to the corner, and there's just not enough room for that, and they wipe out the 2 Hendrick Motorsports cars that have dominated the day. Junior's been 3rd pretty much all day, and they're all junk now. As Junior actually gets away in 3rd, but the damage just not going to be able to hold on with that damage. But my gosh, what a crazy restart that was. See, the front 2 did not go because they had worn tires. Everyone else behind had at least 2 tires or 4 tires on the car, and that's what happens. And Junior gets banged around both sides, and that damage is enough to keep him from contesting for the race when obviously he only had 2 tires on the car as well, which didn't help. He ends up finishing 3rd, but still a pretty decent day. So then we go on to Richmond with 6 laps to go. Junior's found himself in the 2nd position after some crazy restarts, crazy cautions, crazy penalties, all that. Junior's found himself in 2nd, trying to run down the 18th Kyle Busch. Remember, the last 2 of these guys were at Richmond together. Kyle spun Junior, and then Junior spun Kyle. So you think maybe they're even, maybe they're not. But Junior trying to run down Kyle Busch with 5 laps to go, trying to go for another Richmond victory. It's been one of his best tracks out of his Cup Series career. And Kyle Busch looks like he has the better car, but one small mistake and Junior would be there. Another caution, Junior has another shot maybe. But that's not going to come. They're coming to 4 to go. Junior trying to do anything he can to get to Kyle Busch. They cross their 4 laps to go. Still not close enough to do anything. They run pretty identical lap times. At one lap, Junior will be faster. Next lap, Kyle will be faster. And just doesn't look like Junior's going to have the time to get up there and try and battle with Kyle Busch for this race win. He's closing a little bit there, but he's going to lose it through the corners. And off the corner, it's staying pretty consistent, 0.7 of a second, give or take a few hundredths. And then Junior comes over the radio with this to say about his car.
Oh boy.
And then we go to Charlotte because why not? This is the All-Star Showdown. He actually ends up winning that to get into the All-Star race. So then we go to Pocono, where he has a pretty fast car in the Pocono 400. And he's leading right now with Matt Kenseth in second. So he skipped a few races there. Talladega just ran he just doesn't like the TAM racing. He ends up 9th. Darlington just finished 17th. Not much he did there. In the 600 he finished 6th. Dover he finished 4th. And then we go to Pocono, where he leads 36 of the 160 laps. Passed to sell for an 8th place finish. The reason being, late in the race there was a caution flag. And they were questionable on field, maybe about 3 to 5 laps short, and at a track 2.5 miles in length. Junior and his crew decide, hey, we can't take these risks quite yet. We're going to come down pit road, be conservative, and maybe they'll all run out, we'll win the race. But NASCAR extending the caution flag because of debris that they found on the track, and Junior none too happy with it, as he's saying it's kind of costing him a chance at the race and ruining the finish. Listen to this.
They're talking about debris on the Long Pond straightaway there, so I'll let you know here. Plan on going green, no? Of course they're talking about debris. It's fucking all going to run out of gas if we go green right here. What the fuck? Yeah, lights are back on. This took a big old shit on the end of this race here.
So Junior not happy, but he comes back the next race to Michigan and takes the white flag with the race lead. And my oh my, could he get back around and win for the first time in a long time? A race where he started in the 17th position. At the beginning, the car was not how he wanted it. They made some big adjustments. Junior drives through the field, passes Marcos Ambrose, and leads 95 of 200 laps en route to a victory. Elation on the 88 team, and the celebration about to start. As he comes off of 4, he sees the checkers.
35 win is one. Hell yeah.
The streak is over. Dale Earnhardt Jr. back to victory lane in Michigan.
Thanks. I don't want to say. Yeah, I double checked it. Wasn't the 500. We really won it. All right. Hey, good job, man. I know you guys have been waiting on that one. I know I have.
And even though it's been a while since he's done a burnout, he still knows how to do it. First time since 2008 he's done a burnout. The last time he did it was in the Budweiser shootout for 2008. So he didn't have enough gas to do a burnout in his Michigan win in 2008. So he's burned it down for the Michigan fans, and he still knows how to do a burnout. Pretty good burnout right here on the front stretch. Didn't even bother taking the checker flag. Once he's done with the burnout, he just leaves. He wants to get to victory lane as badly as he can. So you can see right there, nice little burnout. And he's going to leave the front stretch, go backwards, and turn to pit road, and go to victory lane for the first time since 2008. 4 years since he's been to victory lane in the Sprint Cup Series. And then come down pit road. I think I've seen this picture before. Everyone on pit road just high-fiving him. Like, hey, good job, you won. It reminds me so much of 1998 when Dale Earnhardt won the Daytona 500. So many people high-fiving him. Good job, check. And now Steven comes over and it's like, hey, man, you won. Obviously, Junior excited. Even more people, I think Biffle was one of them. Biffle's team, McMurray's team. You know, you had a lot of people coming over and saying congratulations. Jimmy Johnson basically sprinted to pit road, sprinted to victory lane to congratulate Junior and be there. As victory lane celebration starts here, he's pulling in, and that Dark Knight rises. The only time it ran on that car and ends up in victory lane. So it seems like when he has special paint schemes on the car, he can do pretty well. He's won in so many special paint schemes. We'll get to that a little bit later on in the series, as well as see more races where he's won with special paint schemes. And then I guess we'll just go and soak up the celebration. Let's hear his interview and all the celebration that had to be done in victory lane once he got out of the race car.
And here he comes. Dominating day. Junior, welcome home to victory lane. What the boss, Mr. H, have to say?
Oh, he's just upset he couldn't be here. That's a great race. I want to thank my sponsors, National Guard, Diet Mountain Dew. Great to have the Batman on the car today. We just had a really good car, and Chevrolet was real fast. Just pretty amazing. Those last 15 laps are the longest laps ever, and I don't know what to think about it just yet. You know what I mean?
Junior, it's been 4 years. Your fans have stuck behind you. This guy right here, Steve Letarte, stuck behind you. What's the most satisfying part of this victory?
To do it for my fans. They stuck behind me for all these years, and I know exactly what they've been thinking about and how long they've been wanting us to get to victory lane. And so this was for them. Appreciate their loyalty and their support, and we wouldn't have made it back to victory lane without it. So that's who we got to give all the credit to.
You look at today, it posed so many challenges. New track surface, the tire change, the weather itself. What was the biggest difference? Was it the change that Stevie made on the second stop with the spring rubber?
Yeah, we changed. Well, yeah, I don't know what all he did, but he made it right, and I think it was real fast. I want to also thank Sprint. They do a good job supporting our sport. Don't get enough credit for it. I appreciate what they do. The track surface was great today. The tire was a tough one, a little bit of curveball, but we didn't have any trouble. We got to put on a race, and thank NASCAR and Goodyear for the work they did. Like those prolific poets from England once said, the new boss looks a lot like the old boss. Dale Jr. back in victory lane.
Well, next race out at Sonoma, he's going to run maybe top 15 on the green white checker, but he gets spun out going up the hill, and with pretty heavy damage, he falls into the 20s to finish there. That Daytona, the big one happens in front of him. See right there in the National Guard. Patriot missed the 11, missed the 18 somehow. It sets him up for the finish, the green-white checker. On the final lap, you see the three pairs in front of him. They get a little loose. Harvick comes down for our junior. He's like, hey, now I have a partner. No one was helping him before. And he's like, hey, maybe I can push Harvick up here. We can try and get something going. So down the backstretch, Stewart clears the Roush Fenway teammates of Greg Biffle and Matt Kenseth. Casey K is on the outside trying to charge up on the outside. It's slowing everyone down. Now here comes the rest of the package as they're stacking up. Everyone's slowing down up front. They're stacking up big time. Going through 3 and 4, cars going high, cars going low, they make some contact. Biffle's going around, saves it. Junior trying to get low as he can, and he barely gets clipped by Biffle up into the outside wall, so it looked like it was going to be a top 5. Gets clipped into the outside wall hard. It's going to finish back in the 15th position. Then Indianapolis comes. And even though this has nothing to do with Junior, it has a lot to do with Junior. Logano gets spun around, and Matt Kenseth, that blue and green number 17 up there in flames, involved the significance. Kenseth came into the race as the points leader of the championship. And then Junior ends up in the 4th position, as you see right here. Why is that significant?
Well, we just, had some good fortune starting on the inside on those last few restarts. We had about a 4th to 8th place car, and, it just seemed to get some good fortune on how the restarts lined up for us at the end. And the car was fast. I was trying to pass Biffle, but just sitting there behind him, arrow tight, couldn't get no closer than I was.
And with it, you are now the point leader. What's that like as this regular season now winds down?
Yeah, you run in the top 5 and the top 10 enough, you'll get enough points. But we'd like to win some more races. And I know our fans would like us to win some more races too. So we're working real hard, real happy with our result today. Happy for Hendrick Motorsports and for 488 Shop, and everybody's got to be happy with what happened today. We had all the cars run pretty good. So we'd like to win more races though. So we're just going to work hard for that.
Dale Earnhardt Jr., the point leader for the first time since 2004, Alan.
See that fire that I mentioned in a previous episode start to reignite just a little bit? Then we go on to the second Pocono race where Junior, once again, another fast hot rod. He gets up front after starting inside the top 10. He clears Hamlin for the race lead. But my gosh, a lot turns wrong for Junior. On pit stops, under the green flag, coming off pit road, he has some issues. On the 88, takes him to the garage. See it.
Dale Jr.
You got it, won't stand
off
any
the
gear.
pace.
Third, no fourth. Can't get second or first, obviously going as fast, but it won't make fourth, correct? In third, won't make fourth. Nope, no third, no fourth. Yeah, that's not going to work. Okay, we're going to have to go change it then. Let's go change transmission, guys.
Well, that's a shame right there. Yep. That's it. That transmission is highly stressed at this track.
Yes, we'll go to the garage. Yeah, they will have to. We can't get this on the kicks up here. Go in there, put it up, guys. Take a look at it. There's no reason to come all the way down here. We just have to push all the way back up there. Just coast in the garage, get up on 4. Start yanking it out.
Yes, all of this change with this new pavement, they're shifting in all 3 corners now on the entry of those. And they're having to do it at a pretty high RPM because they were telling me they waited to shift whenever they normally would. They're ready to get back to the throttle, so they have to get this shifted in a way early, and sometimes you don't get that matched up, and those transmissions will just explode.
So the championship leader, for the first time in a long time after the Indianapolis race, in the garage at Pocono with transmission troubles. And we're not halfway through the race.
You can see how fast he wanted to get this car repaired. He ends up climbing out of the race car, and instead of just going out and kind of looking at, waiting for his team, since his team's not right back there, he's going to start on the work himself. He grabs a jack, literally runs over with the jack. He's going to jack up the car now so he can just, so that maybe they can start looking at the car and see what's wrong. Well, then later in the race, the big storm comes. I was at this race, and it was a monsoon. Like, oh my gosh, it was raining, it was pouring, and it was pretty bad weather. And you'll hear it a little bit. Alan Bestrick says it was a severe thunderstorm watch. But yeah, no, it should have been a lot more than what it was here. The lightning and such, and the thunder that you'll hear. Listen to it.
And there is actually a severe thunderstorm warning, not a watch, but a warning for this area. And it is coming down right now. And booming here at the racetrack.
But yeah, it was a pretty bad storm, I must add. Being seen on the radar, there was a lot of red and pink coming towards the racetrack. I think you would know to leave the racetrack at that point. It was bad. Worst thunderstorm I've probably been a part of. I think this picture does it justice. Look at the rain and whatnot coming down, pushing the car. It was definitely like that. Running through to the car. As soon as we got to the car, it started raining. So we had left long before they even red flagged the event. We left as they were, after the crash happened with Jeff Gordon getting through and whatnot. We had left before that even happened. Or we left before the red flag happened, right after the crash had happened, knowing that the race was not going to get restarted. There was no way they're going to have that race keep going. It was definitely going to be done once that rain came. So then we go into Watkins Glen, where Junior spins out with 7 laps to go from a top 10 spot. There was oil being laid down the track. I don't know if that had anything to do with it or not, but he just spins out of the bus stop going into the carousel, and that relegates him to a 28th place finish. And then Michigan, he makes Gordon mad once again. Remember the contact they had at Bristol, now at Michigan.
Tell the 88 he can thank me later for not wrecking his ass. You got a problem with me? He was going slower than I was.
You know, at that moment, he wasn't treating me like a teammate. If you're going to take a guy 4 wide, don't come sliding up the racetrack.
Well, then at Richmond, Jeff Gordon is on pole, and here comes Dale Jr. starting his qualifying lap. Looking pretty good right now through 1 and 2, and down the backstretch. Doesn't get off turn 2 quite that well, though. He falls back just a little bit as he buries it down now to turn number 3. He's going to try and get everything he can right in here. He does. Through 3 and 4 are monstrous turns 3 and 4. He's right there. Can he get it done to the stripe within a few thousandths? And he gets it by 7 thousandths of a second over teammate Jeff Gordon. So Dale Jr. on pole right now for Richmond. He's going to hold it on the pole. So Dale Jr. starts the Fair Radar Parts 400 on the pole. Saturday night Richmond racing, and Dale Jr.'s on the pole for that. So, you know, he's got to be excited about that. Another pole in his Cup Series career. It's very rare to see Dale Jr. on pole, and right there you can see he beats Jeff Gordon to get the pole on lap 1 of his qualifying. Puts him right there on pole. So then in the race, he let Gordon go by earlier in the race because Gordon, remember, is on the bubble to make the chase or not. He lets Gordon go by and lead a lap for those 5 bonus points. I guess it's only a bonus point at this point. And then Junior gets right back on by Gordon on lap number 9 to move Junior back to the top spot as they race through 1 and 2. And he's actually going to pull a pretty good gap on Gordon as the 24 is starting to fade a little bit as Gordon moves to the inside. Some pit strategy ends up turning bad. Junior gets relegated to the mid-pack, and he finishes around 15th or 14th as that man's second, Clint Boyer, ends up winning the race on the right pit strategy. So then Talladega comes along. The first 3 races of the chase were not so good for Junior, just pretty mediocre. Keeps him around 7th in points. Then Junior pushing Gordon up to the front, and my gosh, gets him sideways. This is probably the most, like, oh my god, I can't even describe this race in 1 or 2 words. Insane, crazy, stupid, crazy, you could say. Like, they're pushing, they're shoving. The end, you'll see in a little bit if you haven't seen it ever. Pretty crazy. Because right there, Junior's still trying to work with Jeff Gordon. He actually has to let off the gas a little bit. And Keselowski gets to his outside. Junior starts fading through the middle. A late yellow comes out, sets up a green-white checker. Some drivers think they're not going to be going fuel, so about maybe top 8 stay out. See, that's why there's some underfronts up there. And then Junior on back, they've come down pit road. They have some fuel. They know they're good. The guys up front, they're still a little bit questionable. Maybe they'll make it. Maybe they won't. So Junior and Johnson abandon to the outside 3 wide, but it's going to slow them up. And Newman makes a 4 wide bold move with Jimmy Johnson. And they're 4 wide in the back of the pack. Junior trying to stay with Johnson. Up front, Kenseth's trying to clear Boyer. He's not clear, but he comes down anyway. Into Boyer, shoves the 15 below the WL line. It's on from there. They're going to go 3, 4, and 5 wide, trying to get around everyone. See the 5 wide further back there. Junior back there. And now they're 4 by 4 by 4 by 4. They're 4 wide everywhere. Ambrose makes a move 4 wide. Junior's in a 4 wide mess. The 43 in front of him moves to the outside to get to the outside of the 9. The 13 and the 9 are making contact. You see right here, come to the white flag. Watch the 9 of Ambrose, the yellow car and the green car, Junior. He gets Ambrose loose. That's almost a crash right there. They save their cars. The white flag is out and they're 4 wide everywhere. Stewart's out front, leading Kenseth is second. They're trying to find runs to get away. Junior crosses the stripe in 14th somehow. He's trying to march up through the field. Now, excuse me, this is exciting. As they come down the backstretch, Michael Waltrip in the 55 is going to move low to get with Casey Mears. That's going to allow Ambrose and Junior to move up a lane. They're moving towards the front. Now Waltrip has a big run with Casey Mears that come to the inside of Tony Stewart, and it breaks off from there. Stewart comes down and gets into Waltrip, and they spin up into the pack. Junior is involved in that green car. See, he goes down right there. You missed the contact he made with the 47, but it's pretty hard contact. It spins the car around. The yellow comes out, and that's it. Junior's involved in a big crash. He ends up crossing the finish line. He gets it rolling about 5 minutes after the crash, gets it to the start-finish line. He's going to give Johnson a ride back to pit road. But Junior and crew not too happy with how that was. Junior sarcastically on the radio after the crash said, well, that was some good racing right there. Steve Letarte called it a $3 million lap. Junior called it ridiculous. And drivers were not too happy about the racing that they had to endure with this type of package that they had. Even though it was great for the fans to watch, the drivers did not like it at all. They were saying it was too crazy, too dangerous. They didn't want to keep doing it like this. In fact, Junior sounds off on it in his post-race interview with, I believe it was ESPN or someone along the lines of that. He sounded off on the racing and said, I would not want to go to Daytona or Talladega if it was like this. Let's listen to his interview and how mad he was about it.
I can't believe that nobody's sensible enough to realize just how ridiculous that was. I mean, that is ridiculous. If this was what we did every week, I wouldn't be doing it. I'll just put it to you like that. Yeah. If this is how we raced every week, I'd find another job. It's bloodthirsty if that's what people want. I mean, it's ridiculous. I don't even want to go to Daytona or Talladega next year, but I ain't got much choice. It's really not racing. I don't know. It's just it's a little disappointing how that all went down. That was ridiculous. It was like cost a lot of money right there. It's just a lot of wasted. I mean, if this is how we're going to race and that's how we're going to continue to race and nothing's going to change, I think NASCAR ought to build the cars, save us a lot of money.
Yeah, we were running a 25-lap run, and going off into turn 1, the sidewall of the tire just blew out. I was just remembering in my head thinking, this angle's bad, this speed's bad, and this is going to be over in a second. And then I hit the wall, came to stop, and I got out, and I felt like I'd hit the wall at 180 mile an hour. I mean, it hurt. We went to eat lunch somewhere just outside the racetrack, and that's when I got nauseous. That's when I started kind of feeling like, my bell was rung. It took me about 2 or 3 weeks really to get feeling 100%. We got to Talladega and I was feeling great. And coming through the last lap of that race, we were sort of mired in the middle of a pack with nowhere to go.
2 inside, 1 outside.
At the white flag, we're on the last lap. Will they make it back? Oh, there's contact.
Get out of you now.
Stewart into the middle of the pack and over.
You okay, buddy? I don't know. I mean, like that, I can say.
It injured a different part of my brain than had previously been injured at Kansas. In this situation, my brain sort of twisted inside my skull real fast as the car spun around real quick. When your body isn't right, especially your brain, man, that's like the computer. And if that computer's wrong, everything's wrong. That scares you to the doctor. I went to the doctor with my tail between my legs. I didn't go there kicking and screaming. I could not wait to get answers and information.
Dale sat out the next 2 races to allow his head to heal, but in doing so, he finished last in the chase.
Well, Junior's first race back was one that was going pretty good until he had been left down older tires trying to defend, and some contact behind him sends Edwards up into Junior. Nothing Junior could really do, nothing anyone could do in that situation. That's just hard short track racing. Puts Junior to the outside wall, and he finishes back in the 20s. So a good day gone bad once again for Dale Jr. He spins around, gets into the outside wall with some damage. And then we go into Phoenix, where some pretty great discussion between Junior and Steve Letarte and TJ Majors about the fight that had been happening with Jeff Gordon and Clint Boyer. Junior's reaction funny, Steve Letarte's reaction funny to it as well. So listen to this reaction to the fight.
Oh, man, it's a huge fight now. Big fight on TV. Big fight. Hey, this fight, I don't know, man. Get you pointed down, man. Holy smokes. Bedlam has broke out here in Phoenix. TV, you better get out of there. All our boys, get out of that fence. Come on. Boyer's heading that way for a reason. Stay out of the way. You see a TV, man? Boyer's running there. He's been jogging for a reason, boy. He is hustling. I can't see a TV. Man, Boyer running through the garage. Camera following him. Here we go. Oh, in the 20. Oh, man, you're missing.
So he ends his 2012 campaign with his first top 10 at Homestead, finishing 10th as Lagana ran out of fuel.